Hi, my name is Chris and I'm here on a special occasion for ISPO.com in an exclusive interview with extreme adventurer Jonas Deichmann here. He is known as ultra long distance runner as well. He did the triathlon around the world and he did the Trans-America twice. Welcome here, thanks for being here.
Thanks, having me here.
Well, you will be on stage later on and you have a lot to talk about. So the first question is actually, how has your year 2023 been so far?
Oh, that's been a fantastic year. I had in spring a lot of speeches, a lot of training, preparation, some smaller adventures. I've been in Finland for a swim run adventure. That's a 220k of running and swimming from island to the Finnish archipelago at like 10 degrees water temperature. So this was fantastic. And then I'm actually back, just 3 weeks ago, I came back from the US for my big project this year, Trans-America twice. I cycled from New York to Los Angeles across the country and then I went back in 100 days. So that was one ultramarathon a day and New York Marathon the day afterwards. And yeah, now I'm in the media days afterwards, the recovery, and then around Christmas I start preparing for the next one.
That's so crazy. Well, you actually do more sports. You do like biking, swimming, like a lot of stuff. So what is actually your most favorite sport?
That's definitely cycling.
Yeah.
I actually have done cycling races when I was in high school. And I also done a cycling trip around the world, and my first world records, they have all been cycle as fast as you can across the continent, always unsupported, adventure style. And that I started with a triathlon. That was actually just in 2021.
Wow, crazy. Okay. And what is your favorite, the second favorite one?
Of the three triathlon disciplines, I love cycling. I also love running and swimming. Well, it's okay. Let's say it like this. But apart from that, I also like kind of all other sports. I'm really like everything that has to do with adventure.
Yeah. Okay, I see. So next to triathlon, there are also mountaineering and stuff like that, for example.
I'm a lot in the mountains. I'm not like a mountaineer, but let's say it like this. If you hear that I'm a triathlete, you probably think in the first moment about like a professional athlete, and I'm much more in adventure and combining those two things. And this is the nice thing is I'm 36 now, and my adventure career is still like in the beginning because I have a long bucket list with also sports that has nothing to do with what I'm currently doing. I mean, the skills are transferable, and I can also row across an ocean or go to the South Pole or things like this. I have a lot of ideas.
I can imagine that you will speak about that on the stage later, because you're here at ISPO Munich in Germany. Is it your first time here?
At ISPO is my first time, yes.
Okay, cool. That's very cool. So do you feel excited to talk to the entire global sports community?
Yes, I'm very excited. I follow ISPO for a few years already, and I think ISPO.com covered most of my adventures already for a few years. Yeah. So I'm very familiar with it. I have always been on some kind of adventure when ISPO was. So now it's the first time it really fits also with the date. And yeah, super excited to be on stage.
It's super cool to have you. So the entire sports world is listening. Could you describe in one phrase or in one sentence, what is it the entire sports community, the entire sports world need to hear? What is it what the sports world really needs as a message right now?
I think the message that everybody needs to hear, not only from the sports industry, but from everybody, and especially for everybody who wants to do sports, is just do it. Because the hardest thing with every big project as an adventurer, if I have an idea for something crazy, or if you have an idea for a new innovative product, or you want to found your own company, it doesn't matter. The hardest thing is always to get to the starting line. The hardest thing is to do this step from idea to really committing. Yes, I try it, and once you really commit with your full heart, you will find a solution. Yeah. Most projects, they fail before the starting line.
So it's actually one day or day one, right?
Yes, and you can always say well, I have to train more, I have to do this, I have to do this. Well, life will get into your way. So if you say the best time to start it is it's not in 5 years.
Yeah, I see. Well, when you're on stage here, you will talk to the entire sports community. But is there actually something that you would like to hear from the sports community? So if there is a question to the sports world out there, what would you like to ask the sports world?
Interesting question. It's first interview. I get a question where it's actually new in a very long time. I would really like to know from the sports world how how to deal with like the environmental challenges. That is such an important thing that I see on my adventures. And a lot of sports are actually very, very sustainable, but not all. Sports is a very big topic. And there are also a lot of sports industries and disciplines where you really need to address the sustainability topic with much more urgency. And that's something I would really love to hear about.
Yeah, very interesting question. I think there's a lot to talk about that. Another thing, and I think the community really wants to hear this. So, well, when we see your stories, I see your movies and stuff like that, there is like isolation. There is food poisoning. There is like cars that feel that they want to kill you on the road and something like that. So, actually, Jonas, why are you doing this?
I do it for the adventure. For me, the record in the end it's nice to have a record, but it's in the end a bonus. The journey to get there is what really matters. It's nice to have a challenging goal that has, for me personally, a purpose. Not everybody wants to do a triathlon around the world, but I want to do it. It makes sense for me. So I work towards a difficult goal. I have a goal in life. I have something to wake up in the morning and work for. The journey, the experiences I have, can be a special encounter with somebody in a foreign country, and or it's a sunrise. I had a long day now in the Mojave Desert, battling the heat at like almost 50 degrees, and then in the evening I pitch my tent and I have this sunset in the desert, and this is where I take my energy from. And those moments I have in my mind, and I will remember them for years after. Yeah. So every day, when I'm on the road on adventure, every day something exciting happens.
So it's really about creating memories, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
You only live once, so.
Yeah. But there's also bad memories, kind of. You talked about at ISPO.com with us earlier that you had this situation in Russia, for example. I think it was cycling, and you were touched by a truck's mirror, right? And you felt like really scared to death. And then you said you had like a problem to refocus again. So how did you manage that?
That was in 2019, and that was the closest. I mean, when you are a cyclist, traffic is the by far most dangerous thing. And this was actually the moment when afterwards I decided I'm done with speed records, where you cycle across a continent as fast as you can, because naturally you have to go on the big roads. Yeah. I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. And the thing is, you at some point you have to make a decision, you have to accept it and then focus. And I'm pretty good in that I don't panic. So whenever I'm in a dangerous situation, or in a situation that maybe not dangerous but out of my comfort zone. One example is I was just doing triathlon around the world, swimming across the Adriatic Sea, and I got into darkness a few times off the coast when you are alone in the sea, 2 kilometers from the coast. This is not where I have my comfort zone. But in those moments, there's no space for doubt. You have to be 100% focused. You can do that and finish the job.
But that actually raises another question, because like it is all about like how you say mental fitness and mental health right now. It's also like how you focus yourself, how you get yourself to do things that scare you maybe and stuff like that. So for you as like an adventurer, as you describe yourself, do you train for it? Do you have like a special coach, like a special, routine for it?
For me, 95% in what I'm doing is mental. And the thing is, with every project you complete successfully, you get strong. You become stronger mentally. When I'm in a difficult situation, I can memorize now and remember. Well, the food poisoning in Sahara, you managed. The snowstorms in Siberia, you managed. So we will find a solution now too. So you simply get stronger every time. And the thing is, to really get strong, what I recommend everybody is kind of to run towards problems, to put yourself in challenging situations out of your comfort zone. That doesn't mean always it has to be your discipline. On the contrary, if you are a skier or a cyclist, sometimes you do something completely different, and where you get out of your comfort zone, and you will learn how to deal with it. But if you always kind of make it comfy, you will not get used how to deal with challenges.
Yeah. So you don't create your success stories that you can remember and focus on for the next.
I want to make my life challenging. Yeah. Create problems and solve them. Yeah. Because that is where you grow, where you develop skills, and also where where you develop this mindset to solve challenges.
That is so super interesting, because I think a lot of people can learn from that actually and get inspired by you, even if it's like for micro adventures, right?
Micro adventures is something, a fantastic concept. It is something, when I have a business speech, it's what I tell everybody. You maybe don't want to go around the world, and that's totally fine. But have you ever slept a night in a bivvy on a mountain somewhere a few kilometers from here? Have you ever done that? And most people haven't. And it's so easy. You just cycle 100K, you pitch your bivvy somewhere, you sleep there, and you come back and you see it wasn't an issue. Yeah. But you got out of your comfort zone. Yeah. And you can use skills that you learned and the mindset for everything in life.
Yeah. That's very interesting. You mentioned business trainings or business speeches. So I remember that you actually have like your own business running, because as far as I know, you just said I don't know, some years ago, that you don't want to depend too much on, how you say, sell your projects and sell your adventures too much, because you wouldn't approach them with the right motivation. So you want to be, how you say, do your adventures because you want to do them and not depending on the money. So actually, how do you get funded, and how do you, how you say, finance your projects? Yeah.
Well, what I said is, of course, I need sponsors. I need to kind of live from it. Only then I can do the life I love and I want to do for a very long time. The thing is, if I have a new project, I always ask myself the question: would you do this if you wouldn't make money with it? And the answer has to be yes. That doesn't mean I don't wanna sell it and commercialize it. It just means I can only sell my personal brand and everything successfully if it's authentic. Yeah. So if somebody pays me a lot of money to do something I don't really want to do, I don't do it.
So it's like your proof of concept. Do you do it for the right reasons?
Exactly. It has to be authentic. I have to want it. Otherwise, I don't do it. Okay. And in the end, I live from sponsors and speeches. I do a lot of like motivational speeches at companies from the sports industry, but also other industries. And I wrote a Spiegel bestseller book. Then from that, you with books, you usually don't make much money, but if you have a bestseller, it's okay. And I have a Netflix documentary and a bit of commercials. But I would say about almost 90% of my income is speeches and sponsors. That's the two by far biggest things.
Okay, that consumes a lot of time, right?
Speeches, yes. Sponsors, not that much. It depends on what kind of sponsors you have, but with most of my sponsors, I have long-term relationships and they just let me do my thing.
That's perfect. We will speak about one of your sponsors later on, but I have another question, because I followed Transamerica twice on Komoot, and I know from like your triathlon around the world that you actually, how you say, you slept in the tent most of the time, and I kept wondering, like for the Transamerica twice this year, it was, all right? Did you sleep in the tent? How was the sleeping situation?
I slept most nights in the tent. Yeah. And maybe once a week I went to a hotel. Sometimes I was invited from locals, but most of the time I sleep in the tent.
Okay. But if you sleep in a tent, I just think it's super cool. But if you sleep in a tent and then you have like so extreme, how you say, pressure on your body, you really need to get everything out of your body. You need to sometimes you squeeze the little bit rest of the energy out of your body. So how do you get regeneration? How do you restore yourself when you just, how you say, sleep in a tent? You don't have a team, or do you massage yourself? And how can I picture the situation?
Actually, I cycled 220K. I run my ultra marathon. I pitch my tent, I cook whatever I find, some rice or instant noodles or whatever I find. And then I have a comfy tent, a good sleeping mattress, a sleeping bag. And the next day I'm full with new energy. There is no massage or anything. No. And there's actually one thing I clearly wanna say. I know that before, but now I really realized it pretty strongly that I have to go like, I have a power bank and everything, but once a week I still like, everything is like really empty from the batteries. Yeah. So I need to once a week kind of some place where I can recharge. That could be a hotel, it doesn't have to be, but sometimes a hotel. In a hotel I don't sleep well. I sleep well when I'm in my tent. Because it's in nature. You are connected with nature. If I have like a river or something like that, where you have the sound of water, this is where I really recover. Yeah. And the next day I'm much more recovered than sleeping in a bed.
So actually, like being in the outdoors is your recovery concept.
Yes.
Okay, that is so cool. Well, when we speak about the outdoors, and here at ISPO Munich especially, we have like so many products and innovation and gear to see and to explore. And you, of course, depend on gear as well, but you're kind of a minimalist as well. So what is the one favorite gear piece that you always carry along when you're on your adventures?
Well, it's hard to pick one because I'm so minimalistic at most of my adventures. I even cut my toothbrush in the middle. So it's really like every gram counts, and there's nothing in my gear that I don't need. Yeah. So it's hard to say, without a tent it wouldn't work, without a sleeping bag it wouldn't work, without my Ortlieb bikepacking gear it wouldn't work. So it's hard to pick one. But I will, if I can pick one product that really made my life better now for the last project. It's actually the Soto Windmaster stove. Mm-hmm. So I use different stoves for the last few years, and I tested this one in spring, and now used it in the US. It's not only much lighter than everything I tested before, it's actually also smaller and it boils faster. So it's like really, in terms of cooking equipment, that was for me like a milestone.
Yeah, like game changer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. We already talked a little bit about like the micro adventure and how to say the excitement the outdoors gives you and what you benefit from it, but also about how to get yourself out there and out of your comfort zone. So that also you come along and you cross the topic like fear. So you said to get yourself out of the comfort zone, you don't need like big expeditions or big adventures. You just need a little small thing. But like for you personally, is there actually something that scares you? Because you seem like scareless. Is there something like an adventure you really want to do, but you're kind of scared to do it?
Of course. And if you're an adventurer and you lose fear completely, then you will die eventually. Yeah. You do stupid things. If a mountaineer loses fear, well, he will die. It's very easy. And I know that traffic is by far most dangerous thing for me. Now I'm mostly on the gravel bike, so it's fine. There's one thing actually that I never got used to it.
What is it?
And that's when I swam 460k through the Adriatic Sea. And I had a few crossings. So where you swim like 7-8 kilometers, no boat next to me, across the sea, far away from the shore. To that, comfort zone expands if you do it often enough. Yeah. So to that, I actually got used to it. Yeah. But what I never got used to it is when I miscalculated and I got into darkness. If you are off the coast a few kilometers in the sea and it's dark, for me I have done it. It happened a few times and I never got used to it. This is like what I really don't want to do.
But when I think and I picture that situation, like it's super, super scary. And when it goes, completely sideways, do you have like a kind of an emergency exit plan that you say, okay, there is one button like I can press and it sends an emergency signal or something? Is there something like this?
Well, it depends on where I am, but if you are in the Adriatic Sea off the coast, no, there's nobody coming and helping you. If you are in the Sahara, who do you call? I mean, you don't have a phone connection, and if you push in, I do have like a spot tracker with an emergency button, but I don't really want to test if you are in Sudan in the Sahara and you press the button, if there is really somebody coming. I have my doubts, let's say it like this.
So sometimes it's like live or die, right?
Yeah. The thing is, for example, for the big crossings when I was swimming, I always told my dad, I called him before and I told him, well, I have like 7K of open sea now. I should be across in 3 hours. If I have no phone signal and my GPS position doesn't move, and in 4 hours I don't call you, then you call the Coast Guards.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Okay. At least you have that as a backup.
And that's one thing I really have to say is I have never in my life have had panic. Never. So even in emergency situations, I still work. That doesn't mean it's not dangerous, but at least, I mean, imagine you're getting into the dark in the sea and you panic, you die. So, and whatever the situation is, I don't panic. Okay. That's like you need to have this for crazy adventures.
This is really your secret weapon, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, it's too dangerous. Yeah.
Coming to another topic, because now I realize you have the brand like Ryzen, and Ryzen, maybe people know, is also like an old children of ISPO Brand New. I think it was 2019 when Ryzen won the ISPO Brand New award. And yourself are an entrepreneur yourself. You're running a little business, and Ryzen is very successful right now. What do you think is Ryzen making so successful? Is it the culture that is a little bit different to other things? What do you think?
It's one of my favorite partners, Ryzen, and what makes them so successful is, first of all, yes, they are different. They go their own ways in everything, in culture, in storytelling, and they live it. It's like Ryzen really lives what they say, and I have never met anybody who said something bad about Ryzen, because also working with them, it's still I don't need a contract. It's a handshake, and I know it works fantastic. And it is this culture where you go cycling together after work, or when I'm there, it's just fun. It's just fun working with them. It's so authentic, and you see everybody in this organization does it with a passion.
I can see why this is a great fit between you and Ryzen. Yeah,
and they try out. They go different ways. It's a organization where it's allowed to make mistakes. They don't want to do what all the competitors do. So they want to think, well, we have this idea. We have no idea if it works, but it could. Let's do it.
You share the same mindset. I can feel it a little bit. Yeah. That's super cool. Well, coming to an end, and I must say it was really a great pleasure to meet and talk and discuss with you. So the last question I want to ask, actually, because this show's motto is actually new perspectives on sports. Are there any new perspectives on sports out there that you realized so far from the show? Or do you think we need some new perspectives? What is your idea on that?
Well, you always need new perspectives. Everything has to develop and grow with the conditions that are changing in the environment. For me, the thing that's so important is sustainability. I know you hear it all the time, but it is the thing that's, for me, it should be the number one topic, to be honest.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for giving the speech later on stage. I'm super excited to see you, and thanks again to be our guest here.
Thanks, a big pleasure.
Thank you.